Hi guys, welcome to my backing video where I'm going to show you several clips of different backing situations throughout the next couple of weeks. I'm going to try to record as many different backing situations as I can when I feel comfortable, where I don't feel I'm going to get in trouble for having a video camera out at various places. So as the opportunities present themselves, I'm going to record me backing up and possibly record other people backing up. If they have the opportunity, I'll ask another driver to record me backing up, and maybe they can critique me, whatever opportunities arise. So let's see what opportunities arise, and I'm gonna critique myself. I'm gonna do voiceovers and critique things and explain what I'm doing and why. I'm going to tell you when I messed up. I'm going to tell you when I oversteer and all that sort of stuff. And when other people mess up and that sort of thing, and give little backing tips and tricks and stuff as the opportunities present themselves. So I hope you enjoy this video. This video is directed more so to new guys. My whole channel is dedicated to teaching anybody who's interested in truck driving, especially the new guys. Okay, I'm not trying to teach people who have already been seasoned drivers. Most of the seasoned drivers already know this stuff, although they might be able to benefit from like a review like situation. But most drivers that have been driving for a couple of years will already know most of this stuff. So maybe this will help you, maybe it won't. But I hope you enjoy the video. Right on the other side of that truck, and sometimes you're going to wind up in these situations. Do you see how close those curbs are and the trees? Sorry about the dirty windshield. So I got to figure out how to set up for this, and it looks like there's another truck on the other side of that. So this is going to be an interesting back. And let's see if this truck isn't in the dock that they're telling me to go to. Kind of looks like it. Or it might be right on the other side of it. Let's see, that's 30. Oh, he must be at 31 then. Okay. And 32. All the room in the world between docks, so that's nice. Okay, here I go to back up. I'm doing my little pull-up, but with limited space. Luckily I had lots of room between those trucks and that trailer. I had oceans of room. I just didn't have a lot of room on my passenger side, and I had to work up against that side. So what I had to do is try to crook my trailer sharply and try to basically crank it into this area and then try to straighten out and catch up with the trailer. It's really hard to see the lines at this dock, but here in a second I'll try to show you a little picture up in the corner of the truck backing up, and try to have a bigger close-up of hopefully where you can kind of see, but the lines are kind of hard to see a little bit here, but you can see a blow up of where my tires are, and the whole truck up there. And have to do a few pull-ups to try to get straightened out because of this sharp angle where I had to try to get straight with the dock. I was basically between the lines, but I wasn't straight with the dock yet, so I had to correct for that by using a few pull-ups. And given the fact that I didn't have a lot of forward pull-up space, I had to kind of compensate for that by doing a bunch of different wiggly wormy things with pull-ups. So having my tandems forward like that helped a lot. Had my tandems been all the way back by the T-bars, I would have needed more pull-up space in order to make this happen. But it might have almost helped in the respect that I wouldn't have had that trailer swing either. So it may or may not have helped had the tandems be set different. Backing is a situational thing, but that was the back. Well, I don't think I got the right angle on that. I think I got it in there and everything, and that's all that really matters. But I was up against this curb and trees, up against that gate in order to do it, and I should have tried to get a little closer to the docks before I tried backing up. So, but you see, I'm lined up with the dock. I gotta slide my tandems and get ready for them to tell me I can back in. Here's where I'm at now, and I'm gonna have to do a pull-up. I'm gonna have to turn my wheels and kind of go towards this trailer right here to try to straighten out a little bit so I can make it into this hole. So if you look down the trailer, if I keep going, my trailer is going to swing towards the corner of that trailer. So I'm going to have to compensate for that. And then when you do your walk around, what you always should do, get out and look, practice your goal. See how I'm set up here. Now you see how much room I got over here. I got plenty of room on this side. So one thing I ought to pay attention to is these trailer tandems and the pivot point. You want to get the trailer tandems, the middle point between the two tires, wrapping around the corner of this trailer right here in order to get in there. So, alright, let's go set up this camera so you guys can see what I do here. One of the other challenges of backing with the semi is both semis are automatics. Automatics can be very jerky and hard to control when they might lunge and try to shift gears while you're trying to do things, making it a little more challenging to not mess up what you're doing because it suddenly wants to lunge forward or backwards when you're not ready. And so trying to keep your throttle in just the right place to avoid this can be rather challenging. Notice how some of this backing is a little jerky because of trying to control the throttle as the truck fights me while I'm trying to back. It is one of the biggest challenges of trying to back today's trucks. Automatics are not fun. Manual transmission clutch trucks, you had slightly more control over this and it was a lot easier to control your foot on the throttle and to keep from this jerkiness that can happen that automatic trucks like to lunge forward or surge backwards when unexpectedly at times. Alright guys, I am not really messing up because I'm going to get in there. I've got to do a pull-up. See how sharp my wheels turn there? I got to straighten it out and I got to go straight that way. Because see where the line's at there? See where the line's at? I'm over the line, I'm too close and I'm heading to go over here and hit the trailer if I keep going. So I need to do a pull-up and straighten out. I need to pull straight that way, almost off kind of towards this trailer that my door is kind of covering up, and then go back. It might take 2 pull-ups to 2 or 3 pull-ups to fix it since I did it this way. So let's see how this goes. Alright, I'll leave you right there. I'm in there. Let's see how straight we are. Am I slightly crooked? I can correct that, do a pull up and correct being a little crooked. But actuality, not bad. I still gotta move my tandems. Doesn't look like a lot of these other people are moving their tandems. Some of them are. So there's the other video camera. So let's get that out of here. I do need to do a pull-up just to straighten out. Go off to the right and back in a little straighter. But in actuality, these trailers, I'm basically not bad. Here I'm at a truck stop in southern Indiana, trying to get into this spot, and I noticed I had a perfect opportunity to pull up into a spot not exactly straight across from my spot, but there was a couple open spots, and so I was able to take advantage of this to back into this spot and make not quite a straight line back, but pretty close. These are the type of things that you can do to make your back a lot easier on yourself and be able to get in a lot more easier on yourself. The only problem with this back is I had to be careful not to hit this truck right next to where I placed my camera. So I had to try not to run over my camera at the same time of trying not to hit the truck that my camera was sitting next to. So this made things a little interesting on passenger side, but as you see, I'm getting into the spot fairly easy, a few little adjustments, little micro pull-ups to try to get adjusted into this spot. Once you get back far enough and enough of your wheels on the truck have cleared the truck that was on my passenger side, I could then crank my wheels to be able to get in easier and to line up in the spot. Once I'm in the hole deep enough, I could do some other pull-ups if needed and be able to get into the spot. Notice how I'm not going fast. I'm not trying to rush to get into the spot. I'm taking my time. And then a pull-up or two just to kind of get even in the spot, get centered in between the two lines. Backing takes a lot of patience and not to rush your way into the spot. because these docks can be kind of tight, but they're not too bad. We've got this pad here. You come down here and you look for anything in the way, such as stuff like that. Another thing you want to look at is that they're really hard to see, the lines that need to be repainted. But if you look at the line on the pad and the line on the ground, there's this much here, there's only this much space. And so you want to line your edge of your trailer right here. So you don't want to be right on this yellow line. You want to be like about where my foot is when you're backing down the line. So that's one other thing you want to watch out. You just want to look for it, because you can line up to when you need to do a pull-up. If you have to do extra pull-ups, what's straight ahead? There is the metal guard there, right underneath that, kind of to the left of the guard sign, and there's a fire, I think there's a fire hydrant right behind it that's red. There's something red right there. That's not quite exactly, but just about right about where the edge of that guard is off to the left is about a perfect, almost but not perfect place to line up to with your steer tire on your driver's side if you need to do a pull-up. Those are the type of things. It's not always exact, but you get kind of a general lineup that you can do to help you. That's something that you can do to help yourself out if you're ever needing a guide to help you get in. Other things to help you, check on the ground. There's always like stains and stuff on the ground. Check for anything that you know isn't gonna be moved by wind or weather or whatever that you can line up with. Sometimes you need it, sometimes you don't. In this case, I probably won't need to use all those different pieces of information, but it's nice to know that those references are there, those points of reference. Always get as many points of reference when you're trying to back up. So, all right, I'm gonna go hop in here and I'm gonna back into this dock and let's see how good I do that. The goal is to try to do it with no pull-ups. Let's see how I do today. I'm not 100%. I'm sick. I'm trying to get over something, so let's see how well I can do. This is some really old footage from when I used to drive for Alan Ritchie, and I used to back up to this dock at the Chicago Bulk Mail Center. If you really pay attention, I back up really slow and take my time, and I'm able to make a lot of corrections. The only thing that made this back hard was having a trailer on the passenger side that I had to be careful of. Otherwise, I had all the room in the world and plenty of space. But having that trailer right on the other side of the dock where in my blind area, in my blind spot basically, made it interesting. But being able to look at the lines and line up with those lines and just follow in slowly and take my time made this back go really smooth. I took my time, and if you see how I'm able to make really big corrections, this almost didn't work out. But I was able to get it in there, and by the time I got stopped, I was in a complete straight line and wheeled straight and backed up to the dock. Alright, just set that camera down there. the hole. I'm gonna back into this hole. I've got to fix my setup a little bit because I set up to back up and then I decided I better film this, so I'm gonna have to reset up. I'm gonna go put this camera over in the corner so you guys can watch me do all this. Alright, I'm pulling up in order to straighten out, and then as you see, I'm gonna back up so I can get set up for this back. And I literally have to back up as far as I can, almost back to the curb back there, which really wasn't enough space, but it worked out. Because I was able to do this pull up and make, for the most part, a straight line back off to, but at an angle somewhat of a 45. Watch as I pull up. Having all the pull-up space ahead of me made it so that I could actually back into this space. I didn't have enough space to start out for the setup right, but I had enough pull-up space to compensate for it. So use the space you have and take advantage of any opportunities you have to make it easier on yourself. In some ways, I probably should have pulled up a lot further just then. Yeah, I go to dock 17 right there. That truck's gonna be in my way. Looks like things have opened up a little bit. This might not be so hard and difficult because I think all the mayhem and chaos is calmed down. There was a whole bunch of trucks just in each other's way and it was chaos. And we got a lot of foreign drivers in here that are just all over the place. So all right. Alright, got that set up now. I go to that dock straight over there, and hopefully all these guys are not going to be in my way. And this should be a fairly easy back. I'm gonna wait for this guy to get out of my way. It's crazy in here. Everybody wants to move. Everybody's in each other's way. It's getting better though. It's cool. There. Cool, we got the tandem sled now. I just pushed my trailer brake in and out a few times, and that causes the pins to go in, and then I can set it for where I want it. We got blue truck coming right there. This is what it's like trying to back up a lot. Oh, I don't want to set my drive time off. So use the room that you have available, and if you can make a back into a straight line back if possible. We got this truck kind of in our way, but we can work with that. So we'll go up like this. Okay. This is what I was talking about. If you have the opportunity to turn a back into a straight line back, do it. That's basically what I just did. I'm a little off if you see. Get out for a second. If you see, look down, I'm off, but I can compensate for that. I can worm my way over in between those lines and get that. So I don't know how well that's coming across on camera. Let's back into this hole. We'll turn our wheels to the right. Hopefully no one's trying to get in our way. So don't know how well the GoPro's getting things, but I got the tripod out there. So there we go. Back nice and slow. And I messed it up. I'm gonna have to do a pull-up because I was trying to do it too fast. That's what I talk about, going slower, and you'll make less mistakes if you go slower. Now it's just a straight line back, but you want to go nice and slow. I'm gonna get closer to this line on my passenger side. This place is pretty quick about loading people up. There's a lot of energy drinks and sparkling water and different kinds of stuff like that. Energy drink. And I was tired, really tired, and this was an awesome spot. If you could pull up far enough ahead of a spot and straight line back into it, that is one of your best options. If you don't have to do 45 good did I do of a backing job? Oh, a little crooked. Should fix it. Alright guys, here's the situation where I almost waited too long in order to turn and try to set up, but I was able to compensate for it. I took too late to turn to the right and go over to the left. I could have maybe turned a little sooner. With a little bit of correction and patience and taking it slower, I was able to get into this spot. That's a situation where you saw how I backed a little bit too much and then pulled straight forward, straighten it out. That's a technique that you can use to get into the spot and then move forward and basically turn it into a straight line path like I just did right here. Where you purposely strip it with the hole. And then straight forward towards a point straight ahead.